beautiful Wednesday night. It was quite rainy this morning, but this afternoon the sun came out and it was really nice and sunny, and it was quite warm down the seafront. So we went for a big doggy walk. Right, okay, so tonight I'm going to be playing with the tile beads. I have done a few projects with these ones, and I really do love them because although they are flat, I'm just going to grab one of them here. Although they are quite flat, they have got two holes going through them, and we can have loads of different ways how we can bind the pattern together with these beautiful beads. Look how bent my needle is. Right to the top. I'm going to zoom in for you just in a sec so you can see it. But we could create necklaces, we could create bracelets, we could create loads of different things with these beautiful beads. What I love about two-hole beads is that they are quite flat. So we got a beautiful pattern, but the bracelet itself or the necklace is quite flat, and therefore they are really comfortable to wear. They're just like sort of really nice on your skin. So I'm going to zoom in more, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to move these out of the way, and then we're going to have a little plan. Good evening, Lucy. Nice to see you here. Come and say hi. Let me know what have you done with these tile beads, if you used them before. What sort of, do you use them more for bracelets? Do you use them more for necklaces? What do you fancy making with them? I'm not sure. I have been sort of thinking about this afternoon, what I'm going to do. I quite would like to have a pattern, something like that, going again for a bracelet. I keep making bracelet, needs to do some necklaces as well, but something like that, and then having, just move this over a bit, and then having kind of like seed beads in between, maybe we incorporate a crystal or the larger bead somewhere there as well. We could also have them, because they would sort of move that way, to have maybe 3 in a row or 4 in a row, and then have them in like sort of a V-shaped pattern. Sort of, I'm bringing the camera over a little bit so you can see it better. To have them in a V-shaped pattern, going backwards and forwards, I think that would look really good as well. And then filling it in with some other beads where we haven't got the tile beads. That could be, super jewels work quite well with it as well. So that this could be a nice little pattern to work on, I think. There's so many different things we could do, but do let me know in the chat, what would you like, or what have you done with these beads before? I'm not even sure why they would have to have the holes on these sitting if it did a V shape like this, but I think this could be quite good as well. We could actually, if we just had 3, didn't have the 4th one, we could go with the middle row and then do one on either side, but that could be something else as well. So what do you think? Let me just take a sip of my drink, and I'm going to say hello. Good evening, Angela. Kellyanne, good evening. From Miney, USA, nice to see you. Sandra, good evening. Dulce, good evening. Lucy said, I almost forgot back to you tonight. Ruth and Lourdes reminded me. Oh, bless. I am here. It's Wednesday night. So I'm here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. I am here playing with all sorts of different beads. So what shall we try first? I'm going to grab some seed beads and see how we're going to go on. There's so many different options we have here. Not really sure like which one to start with first. Right, seed beads are coming up. Actually, I got some seed beads on here. Went with the blue purple look as well, so might as well go with purple seed beads and grab some thread and just thread my needle and just have a little go. So with this one, because we got the holes just like that, so the hole would be free there, so it would have to come around or turn back on ourselves, so we could go backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. I think that would look really good as well. This is just pop the link in if you need any of these beautiful beads. There's so many different colors and there's so many different ones you could go for, like, you could match anything with them really. Right, I think I will grab some super jewels out as well in a minute, because I think it would be nice to incorporate one other bead as well, one other 2-hole bead. Although I did use super duos when I did this bracelet, I just use super duos on the side of it, going sort of backwards and forwards. But I do think that it would be nice. They have like maybe a wave pattern with it we could do. So you could pick it up in all sorts of different ways. Right. Needle threaded. Good evening, Emilia. Nice to see you here. Right. I got some size 11 seed beads. So if I wanted seed beads in between, and I really want those seed beads to kind of sit, I'm just going to grab 3. I want really those seed beads to sit in between, just like that. But then we're going to need probably 3 seed beads on the top, and then 3 seed beads at the bottom, and 3 seed beads on... Do I want seed beads on this side, or do I just want the seed beads in between? Maybe we won't put seed beads on the side. So I reckon I'm going to need 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 seed beads to hug it sort of in between. Right, let's have a look. How is this going to look? So if I'm going to come through, I'm just going to take these out of the way. If I'm going to come through one of these, and then I'm going to pick up, let's pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 seed beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and go through the same hole again and just see how much is this 7 seed beads going to hug. Or I think it's too much. We probably only need 5. So backing up. 7 seed beads is too much. When you design anything like this, that you just have to try it and judge it by eye, and then it's sort of just readjusting the numbers and trying again. So I'm doing it with 5, and that's kind of sits better, but then 5 may not be enough of size 11 beads. So let's have a look. 7 was too big and 5 may not be enough. So I need to pull these into the other hole as well. I'm going to go in. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go into 4 seed beads here. And I'm going to pick up another tile bead. And then I'm going to come through just the middle 3. And then see how does that sit then. There we go. Oh, I need 1 bead in either side. Okay, so reversing back. Reversing back. I'm going to take the tile off. I'm going to pick up 1 seed bead, then put the tile bead on. So we have got that missing seed bead there. And then I'm going to pick up 1 more for this side, seed bead. And then come through those middle 3s and see what happens. So we've got equal seed beads on all sides. I wonder that if I went to the seed bead and added another 2, so it would be our starting point for next one, or we would continue this way. So if I came through this seed bead, just let's see what happens, and I picked up another 2 seed beads, then I came through the other hole. It's a little bit loose at the moment, but we're just kind of like trying for the shape. Then I'm going to pick up another 2 and go through these again. So that would kind of then fall into shape. And I'm going to come through. I'm going to be coming through these beads a lot. So would it be better to start off with them? So if I come through there, and then I pick up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come through the same hole again. We'll be hugging it on this side as well, but then I still need to go ahead and sew these together, and I think we need an extra seed bead there. So 3 kind of not enough for the sides, maybe the sides, but not on the top, because now if I went in and I come up out of the 4th one, picked up a seed bead, a tile, another seed bead, went through the middle 3 again, then I would have my next little unit. But we are short. Can you see, like, we're so short of a seed bead here? We could perhaps fill that in later on, as we're going backwards and forwards, or we could link into these, and we could work out all sorts of different thread paths for them, I think. So I'm just gonna just sort of, it looks better. I'm gonna circle back and I'm gonna add 1 seed bead in there. So just we know how does this look. There we go. Yeah. So if we get the kind of look I want to get with it. So I'm just circling back and going through these, and then going through there. So yes, so that's an appropriate amount of seed beads. So we have got 5 on the top, 5 on the bottom, and 3 on the side. So technically 4, it would be 4 on each side. So 16 seed beads surrounds the, good evening, Barbara. Say hello from further. 16 seed beads surrounds our tile bead. So now we need to work out how we can have all these seed beads, because these 3 here, but they hang a different way, because the thread path would have to come out of there somehow. So as I'm coming out of there, I would have to be able to link the next row, and I still want to add more seed beads around there. So do I then go and add, shall I add an extra seed bead in here and go back to the front to the other one? I'm going to pick up another 3, let's say 1, 2, 3, come through, another 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, go back this way, another single one, cross over again. I think it would be nicer to have something else in the corner other than just the seed beads. I think the pattern needs something a bit more to it. So I'm just going to come through here. I'm just going to sort of complete this 1, 2, 3, going through, and then I'm going to pick up another 3, 1, 2, 3, come this way, and then a single seed and go into this one. So we're just going to have to review this, how does it sit. I do think it does need something else in there. The single seed beads pushing them apart too much, so I don't like the gaps. So we need to find something else, some other beads, what we can go in between. There we go. Right, I'm going to cut this off and I'm going to start again. What if we did 4 seed beads on one side and then 4 seed beads on the other side? How would that sit? Or we would have like a little, we could work out from a little circle. We could have another line. I'll cut it off now, but we could put another 3 seed beads, which then would link into the next row. But I do think like the 3 seed beads maybe go up in the size of seed beads, but then the size it might be a little bit too thick for them. So let's try again. Oh, Linda's saying, love your design. Thanks for introducing me to your new hobby. Oh, bless you. This is my favorite thing. Just sort of sit down and play with it and just try different beads and you know, just fit them together. So if we want, let's just grab these ones. So I want these guys to sit either, it doesn't matter because the tile beads, so they will be the same size. Sit just like that. And I want the seed beads in between. So how we are going to achieve that? I could, so if I didn't go in and then waved into the next one straight away and then filled up in the in-betweens, that might be a better plan. So I'm gonna pick up 5 seed beads. Do I need 5? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 is enough. I'm gonna pick up 3 seed beads and I'm gonna pick up another tile. Then I'm gonna pick up another 3 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, and come back through my original one, just there. Let me just wrap this around my fingers. I can hold a nice and tight tension here. So then I can go in and fill in the gaps I have in the middle. So if I bound the 2 together first with 3, then it will be, if I come through that 1 and I add 4 in, that's, or I could add a different bead in between there. I'm just going to come through 1 more seed bead, just like that, and then I'm going to pick up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to go through this middle one here, and then I'm going to pull this up back nice and tight, and then I'm going to go back up that 4 because I want it kind of sit in that middle, but maybe, there we go, just pull it nice and tight. Maybe this is not going to be the best of thread paths unless if we use something different and then go to the opposite direction, and the 4 is probably a bit too much, the 4 seed beads, we might need 3. And then from here it sits nice and straight. Oh sorry, I'm a bit out of shot. It sits nice and straight. Let me just shut the door because Christopher just put his head in and then he gone off and then left the door open. There we go. So I like that it sits nice and straight, but now I need to get to the next one so I can add more on. Wherever, if I, from these 3, if I pick up another one, pick up another 3 seed beads and another tile, and then come through those 3 again, then I will be adding more on there. 1, 2, 3. Let's see how that's gonna sit. Maybe if I just come through the second one, back up 1 bead, and then I could go pick up my 4 again, which I think that 4 is too many. It's kind of need to be 3. So let's pick up 3 and see. Or we might have to change the seed beads to a different size so we can see them better. I'm gonna go through that middle one, and then so the 3 is kind of not enough and the 4 is a bit too many. Coming back through the 3, so we're gonna have to change it to a different bead and then come that way. So again, and then we could fill out, because if you don't want the edge, we could fill that out later on. It would be even nice if we had 2 rows of seed beads there. Somehow we could find a thread path to add 2 rows of seed beads in there. Hi Mary, nice to see you. Joe is here, good evening. So I think we do need some other beads, and then we need to find a better thread path. How are we gonna bond these together? It's always I don't worry about the thread path too much first. I just want to find the look, and then once I found the look, then I can go back and tweak the thread path to sort of a better way, an easier way to go around it. So if I'm just coming out of that middle one, what happens if I just pick up 3 and then go through here? And then if I pick up another 3 and then go through the other side, 1, 2, 3, kind of like filling those gaps in, then pick up another 3, 1, 2, 3, come through this hole and another 3 and go back into the middle. I'm not keen on this. I have to admit I'm not too keen on this. I think I am going to move on to the next one. I think the idea is good. Or what do you think? Let me know how we could improve this, or what thread path we could use to trap them, kind of like framing a window, I guess. I'm not. Maybe if we used bugle beads, they would look better as well. So I think I'm gonna scrap this, and I am gonna put this onto the side. I have a little play with this during the week and see what we go, because I think I got the idea. Sometimes you got the idea in your head and you just need to put it to the side and come back to it a little bit later with a fresh pair of eyes, as they say. So I'm gonna cut this off and I'm gonna put it to the side, because I think I either need to use different seed beads, or I need to kind of relook at it, what I'm going to do with this, because it's not sitting the way how I want it to sit. Right, okay, so moving on. I do think that if we added 4 of these together as well, we could do with a seed bead in between, that would make a nice little pattern as well. And then we could add other beads in between as well. I'm gonna have a little go at this. So maybe I most of the time, you can string these on just as a little I'm gonna add 1 seed bead in between. So I have done 4, and I'm gonna come through again. I'm gonna come through all of them and see how they're gonna sit. So if I got 4, and then, oh, I'm missing a seed bead. Silly me. Let's come through. That's where I'm missing the seed bead. And 1 more seed bead. There we go. There's so many different patterns you could do with these. So if I add 4 in just like that to start with, and then we could cross the beads. Let me just wrap the tail around my finger here so I can keep a nice and tight tension as I'm going around. I might even knot it together, so I got a nice base, just until I kind of work out what will be the best thread path for this. There we go. So if we start with 4, I'm going to flip this out just like that. I'm just going to go past that tail. So then we have got the option to add other beads or link other beads in the hole next door. So I can either link more of these in, I could add other beads in between, I could cross over maybe with a bicones or smaller pearls. There's so many different things we could do, and we could have a larger sort of outer side here as well, but I want to keep it kind of square-ish as much as I can keep it squarish. So as a framework. But I think we could add, if we added some super jewels in there instead of the seed bead, that would make a really pretty pattern. I'm just going to run around again, so I got a nice base. And I'm just going to come through this one, and I'm going to turn around in this. So if I started again and added a seed bead, tile, seed bead, tile, seed bead, tile, seed bead, so 4 seed bead, 3 tile beads, come through this guy again, and that would be my next unit. And again, I could go around and add more and more in, but and I think that would look quite nice, like a little bit like a checker sort of pattern. You still want to do something with these seed beads, still want to fill them up and add something in between so they are more there's no gaps. You could leave the middle one empty, the middle sort of square empty. I'm just gonna move past there and just come up there and then go down. I'm gonna add another square, and then we will figure out what to add in between. So again, I need 4 seed beads, 3 tile beads. Joy's saying these are beautiful. I love using them for leather wraps. Yeah, absolutely. They are so great for that as well. I'm just coming up through here. And then we're gonna need to sort out these other ones. So I'm gonna just stop there, and I'm gonna see what are we doing here. So if I run back, and I still, like, you know, the sides are still flapping because we still haven't filled out this hole on this side, and we're gonna go and do that later. I'm just gonna come through. I'm gonna come through that seed beads, and I'm gonna pick up, I think I need 3. 1, 2, 3. Then go straight across, straight down there. Just unhook that. There we go. I'm gonna pick up another 3. 1, 2, 3. Go straight down. I'm gonna turn around and come back up on the other side. So I'm filling in the seed beads and through the tile and the seed. I'm picking up another 3. 1, 2, 3. Going straight across. And another, oops, seed bead is jumping away. 1, 2, 3. And straight across. So let's have a look what we have now. So I kind of like that the seed beads are on the side there, and they kind of sit straight, although this one is not right there. Let me just pull this, pull and pull this. There we go. So now I want to add something else on the outer side of it. I could add more seed beads, or I could add pearls, I could add crystals in there, I could add any sort of other bead on the outer side there. So we got 5 seed beads. The seed beads are approximately 2 millimeters in size, so we got about a 10 millimeter gap there, probably 9 millimeter gap there we need to fill. So I reckon we could add 3 pearls in there, we could add 3 millimeter crystals, but then I guess that would make our pattern quite simple. So I think we need to jazz it up a little bit. Let me just grab something. I'm just gonna grab pearls because they are out here, and some purple pearls. Let me just see. There we go. So I'm just, no, that's a very strong purple. Maybe a blue pearl to add in there, that will be good. That's very strong as well. Or maybe this dark purple will look good as well. Shall we go more purple, or shall we go, or I got it, this one, the wisteria color, probably the best to go on the outside. Yeah, we go with the wisteria. So I'm gonna just try that. So I'm gonna turn around here. I'm gonna pick up 3 of these pearls and just go straight across and see how they sit. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna pick up another 3, go down, and then I'm just gonna pick up a couple so I can turn around, but obviously we wouldn't have those 2 there. I don't think it sits right already. I think they're too big, and I think we need something else in between to make it a little bit more than sort of just straight lines. So super duos. So if we had, instead of the first seed bead, if we pick up super duos, I'm just gonna grab any color, purplish color in my hand, maybe dark one. So if instead of that single seed bead, if you picked up a super duo, then that would give us another opportunity that where we can bind our pattern. And there we go. I'm just going to thread a needle and just try out before I go any further with that one. So this time I'm going to pick up a few more tile beads. I'm going to pick up a tile bead, a super duo, another tile bead, and a super duo until I have got 4 tiles and 4 super duos on there, and then I'm going to go around again and I'm just going to see how they sit. I'm just going to have a look. Get the tail out of the way. Because if you have got the super duo in there, we got another hole in the super duo, so we could be having, and actually the pearls might just fit in there nicely. I'm just going to go around. Good evening, Michelle. There we go. I'm just going to go past my tail so I can pull it nice and tight. So let's have a look now. I want that to the outer side as well. I like that better. I think it's nicer with the super duos when the seed beads 100%. And now we either, how are we going to link this up to the next one? Because if we wanted to add another unit the same, I think the super duos, would they clash with each other or would they just sit? Or maybe they would just sit like that. Ooh, let's just have a look. So I'm gonna go around to the other side so I can keep the tail on one end. I'm gonna turn around in the tile bead and I'm gonna pick up another unit and see what is it gonna look like. So just pop that to the side. I'm gonna start with a super duo, tile, super duo, tile, super duo, tile, super duo, the same we did with the seed bead, but I'm picking up a super duo instead, and I'm gonna pull this nice and tight. So these two super duos kind of just gonna meet on the top there. I quite like that. So now we need to work out a thread pattern, and let me just go up again. I'm gonna add one more unit. And then we can run around and we could fill it up with seed beads or other beads in it, in between the super duos and the tile bead. So coming through here, and again and again I'm doing right angle weave-ish. How funny is that? I keep circling back. I need to do like, there's so many different stitches, but like with these beads we keep circling back to like right angle weave. Right, I'm coming out of the bottom, so I'm gonna come from the top and let's just pop it down and have a look. I do think that's gonna look good, so let's just flip those out just like that. I think that's really pleasing to the eye. And now on the outer side, I think we're gonna come around and we just have to work out what beads can we fit in the gaps to come in and then go back out. And then we're gonna sew these two. We might even put a seed bead in between the super duos there, just like that. I think that would look really good. And another one on this side. And I personally think we should leave the middle free. So just like have a lacy bracelet. I think that would look really good. So that would then go in there. And then maybe 1 or 2 seed beads going there. Maybe 1 seed bead will be on up. Let me add one more unit. So we don't just have 3. We'll have 4. And then I circle back with the seed beads. And then we see And then of course we can change the seed beads to microcrystals, or we can change it to other different beads as well, depending of the size of the gap we're gonna have. So super duo, tile, super duo, another tile, another super duo, another tile, and a super duo. And I'm gonna come through this one on the top and weave my thread to the end so I can run down on one side. Obviously, if we made this into a bracelet, we would be starting with a clasp and then work our way to the other side. So we need to run down in the middle. I'm gonna pick up a couple of seed beads because this end is a little bit bigger. Then a single seed bead, crossing over. Then another, would it be single or would it be two seed beads here? We need, let's just have a look. So I'm keep popping it down on my mat and having a look. I think a single seed bead. Maybe microcrystals would be better because they're just a slightly bit bigger, tiny bit bigger than the size 11 seed beads. And then one seed bead in between. Maybe we don't need the in between one, and then going out. Another one, and I'm just going to run around on the outside, adding these seed beads in. There we go. I quite like that, and we could come back and add another row of, with those where those seed beads are, we could add another row of tiles, another row of super jewels in there, so we could make it wider if you wanted to. Lorraine, good evening. There we go. I'm just keep picking up one seed bead, running all the way to the end. I'm going to run up on the other side. I think that's looking good, but I would still want to tweak the beads and put something sparkly in there. Maybe we need to go back and revisit and put something in the middle as well. So I'm just going to run down on this side. It's giving quite a nice shape to it. Sometimes when you doing something like this, you can kind of like feel it in your hand that it's like tight, or what, like, you know, the pattern you're making or not tight. Is it buckling a little bit? Is it nice and straight and sits flat? That's another one, and this one's sitting quite nice and flat. In the other side, and there, and into the tile, and just running down with this. There we go. And up. And coming down. And going back up. I think I quite like that one. Definitely I have to sort of revisit and have a look, because I do think this will look really good. But just sort of tweak the beads. There we go, right to the end. I quite like how does it look, how does it come together. But it needs something else in it as well. I don't know if you added a larger bead in the middle on those, because we could come out of that hole even and cross over. So we could have like an X in between there as well. There's so many different things what you could do with this. Right, I want to try another thing. And I'm gonna just I'm gonna take the thread off and add a new one, because I want to try to have it in a V shape. So what happens if you bind these together, and since I got the super jewels here, I'm going to use the super jewels as well. If I, without using any seed beads, if I just bind two tile beads together, coming back through there. Actually, I could go for 3, maybe 2 is enough. And then let me just, I'm gonna come back through, just sort of, I got a nice strong base here. Just gonna weave my thread back into this end. And what I want to have a look, so if I had another 2 here, if I had another 2 sitting just that way, and another one here, and then I had super jewels in between, so if I just picked up one super jewel, went straight across, then if I come back, I'm just going to come back straight on myself. Let me just move this out of the way. And I picked up a super jewel, went through the super jewel, pull this up nice and tight. Obviously, we'd have to find a better thread path for this. Another super jewel, going to the tile. There we go. Pull this, I think, have to really pull it nice and tight. Then coming through the next one, and I'm gonna pick up, sorry, let me just, I'm gonna pick up a super jewel, go through, so now we're up to 5. I'm gonna be up to 5, well, 3 super jewels in this row, but like 5 connected together. But on the other end, now I need a tile bead on a super jewel first, and then a tile bead to link into. And I'm going to come back to this tile, so I will have that thread path there as well. Come and sit nicely, and then I'm going to come back to the tile bead and pull it tight, and that should pull it into place. And now I'm going to go up, and I don't really want to add another super jewels in there, so now I would be looking probably a seed bead, and maybe pearl would be the right size. Or if I added 3 pearls in here, I think that would be, I'll try it. Just gonna pick up a pearl and go through the super jewel, just try it. Another pearl. I need a few more pearlies. Where is the end? There we go. Another pearl, and just go through the next super jewel. So that could be a nice sort of wedging pattern there. And then when I get to the next section, I would do it the opposite way. Sort of little fans, little triangles sitting on top. There we go. So now, this side, and I know my tail is there. This side will be the smaller side. So I'm going to pick up a single and a tile. So I definitely would have to work out a better thread path for this. Coming back through the tile, then a single super jewel going through the super, maybe do it sort of lengthways and then link another one on it. So not doing it by unit, but go all the way on the bracelet and then come back and add the next row in. I think this would look really good as well. I do like, it's not asymmetrical, but I do like sort of patterns where the beads don't sit straight, they kind of sit in an angle. I do really love sort of all different angles with the beads. Pulling this up, coming through there. I like this. I think definitely could do something. Find a better thread path, 100%. and maybe even add some other beads in there, but I really do like this one. But then we'd have to weave our thread back. We have to turn our thread back, get down to the end, and then start sort of our next unit. I think I quite like that, and it would sit just like that. I don't know if we had an extra tile bead just there and an extra one here, maybe that would look better. Like if we had an extra one. What do we think? Do we need the extra tiles on the corners or just leave it bare? Let me know in the chat if that would look better if we had an extra one there in a complete V shape, or we don't need that one. Do let me know what you think, because I'm sure we could find a way how we could link that tile at the end. That is lovely. Lauren is saying, I like that one too. Angela saying, that's looking good so far. Thank you. Yeah, I think it needs, like, I would want something better than the pearls, because obviously these super duos have got kind of like a pearly finish to them, a satin finish to them, and the pearls just like we need something which shines up a little bit more. But that's like, you know, that's we can tweak that later on. So what shall we do? Shall we have these corner ones, or we don't need the corner ones? Or what we could do, but no, the holes are going that way, so we can't really, there's no holes to link in there, so we would have to link through, we'd have to link somewhere somehow differently. Let me just grab the needle and let's have a look. So I am coming out of that tile bead. Maybe we could add a larger bead in there, like a let me just get to the end, like a larger pearl bead, but then that's not going to be flat, and the whole point of this is that our bracelet is flat, or a triangle bead. That would look good as well. I'm going to weave my thread down to the bottom and add one more unit. Definitely need to find a better thread path here, so I need to be able to face away in that. So I'm just going to turn my thread path around, and I'm gonna have to find a better thread path here, but I'm just gonna sort of cheat and come through that super duo and go straight into the last hole on the tile bead, because I don't really want the thread there, but for now I'm just gonna go with it. And then again we would have the smaller one there coming back on the tile, another super duo going through this, another super duo going through the second hole, pulling this up nice and tight and turning around. Definitely, I don't think we need the thread path here. If you're doing it lengthways, then the super duos will bind together the 2 rows, or we can even go up to 3 rows. And if I added one more super duo here, oh yes, so if we added another super duo there, that would be our link. So if there was another super duo here, that would be our link to add that last tile bead in the corner. So that's worth to think about it. I just need to find a better thread path. But let's work out the look first. The look what we want, and then we can worry about what thread path we're gonna take, because there's so many different ones you could do if you got a general look. We could also use gem duos. We could use like different beads here. And here, I'm gonna add the pearls in, because that's what we did before. Just to go through, definitely this would need to be running up and down in rows, and then adding them together, rather than turning backwards and forwards. And actually, if we run up and down in rows, and we didn't add these together, this would be a perfect bracelet to do on flat elastic, because it would have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. 4 rows of flat elastic would do the bracelet nicely, I think. And by doing it on elastic, it would be really easy to take off and to put on, just like that. I do like that. Definitely would need to finish it a little bit better. How about if we mirror this on the other side and it would have the super jewels themselves kind of like decreasing, and then fill that sort of the gap up, and then but then it would be a wider bracelet. I think that would look really good as well. But then it would be a different thread path. We would have to work it out, and we could even have one in the middle, because it would either link to this row or this row, and have it like an X, and the super jewels there. I think that would look really good as well. But again, there's a load to think about it. Good evening, Camille. Nice to see you here. Right, I am going to show you what I need to think about a little bit more of these ones, and how we can really kind of like work it out. But I definitely like it. I like how it looks. So we had a little go with this one. I like this one as well. Need better beads than the seed beads, and I'm gonna have a bit more play with this week. The straight one just with the seed beads I didn't like, because it was too plain. I think adding the super jewels in just looked better. And then this one I'm definitely gonna have a little play, because sometimes I like to do patterns where you just use a couple of materials like seed beads and these beautiful tile beads, and then they just stand out, and it's kind of like become like a fabric, like a ribbon. I really do like those sort of patterns. Right, I am gonna go, because I need to go and feed Roxy. She hasn't had her dinner yet. I didn't want to kind of like feed her before, because after dinner she likes to go out. So I'm gonna go and feed Roxy. Bless her, she's been waiting very, very patiently for her dinner. I'll be back next week, and we will be playing with the Czech bar beads. So we were playing with the beams, which have 3 holes, and next week we're gonna playing with the bar beads, which they have 2 holes. We might even incorporate the 2 together, because I think it would look quite nice. I got a couple of ideas in my mind, in this saying very interesting things. It was just a little play, just what we do on Wednesday night. We just have a little play, but I really love the look of that one. So we see. I'll have a little more play with it throughout the week, and see what we can do. So everybody have a beautiful week, and I will see you next Wednesday, 7 p.m. back here, and we will be playing with the Czech bar beads. Everybody have a good week. Keep on beading, keep on crafting. See you very, very soon.